It's no secret how many Star Wars fans have been feeling lately about the Bad Batch show. So in today's video, we're going to be explaining exactly what's going on here with the Bad Batch show, with some key details here that could be hinting at future seasons of the overall show, and really just talking about and explaining this overall show. So without a further ado, let's just jump right on into it. What's going on, guys? Unofficial Star Wars here. Hope you're all doing well. And in today's video, well, I already explained what today's video is about, so let's just dive right on into it. It's no secret how many Star Wars fans have been really feeling about the overall Bad Batch show, especially this most previous episode with this overall show, claiming and saying and how they exactly feel about this Bad Batch show, exactly saying that it's just pretty much all filler. It just never actually goes anywhere, and none of the episodes really promptly build off of each other, at least in those beginning episodes when we got to see Order 66 happen with Wrecker, but that's a different story. So really the first reason here, starting off, why does the Bad Batch show just not really go anywhere exactly, just building off the overall story here with the Bad Batch and exactly who this group is something we've kind of been learning throughout this entire show, but just seeing this show really never go anywhere and not really seeing any of these episodes build off of each other and go anywhere exactly. We'll have one pretty decent and amazing episode, and then the next just be an absolute filler and just go absolutely nowhere. And you guys that already regularly support and watch the YouTube channel here already kind of know how I feel about the whole term and word filler, especially being used on the Bad Batch show. I feel like it's really misused and overused at that. But eventually sometime, I think we all do kind of break down and crack at some point, and I do have to agree with many other of you Star Wars fans out there. The Bad Batch show does have a lot of fillers out there for this overall show, just episodes that just don't mean anything. They just don't lead anywhere ever, and are just completely pointless to the overall Bad Batch. Whether, you know, whatever defense of claims you want to make out there, saying, oh, it's great story and character development out there for the characters, that just doesn't mean anything to us other Star Wars fans. We want action, we want stories that actually go somewhere, whether it's arcs or whatever the case could possibly mean. So with that kind of out of the way and with that kind of in mind, furthermore, let's move on to kind of the next subject here. What's even the point of the Bad Batch? What's even the plot here? Let's talk a little bit about that. Well, the overall plot here, of course, is about a group of mutated clones that first served in the Clone Wars, now discovering themselves in a brand new vast Star Wars universe here, and really just adapting to the overall surroundings and just kind of playing it by ear at this point. And that's kind of what the episodes have really been doing. It's just kind of playing it by ear, but a lot of them don't ever build off of each other and really go anywhere. And there's only one really thing I can use to defend that, and that really possibly could be is seeing that each of these episodes are just kind of confusing and not correlating or connecting to each other. Could just kind of be a little bit of a reference almost towards these confusing times that the Bad Batch exactly are taking place in the Star Wars universe. It's a confusing time. They don't exactly understand and exactly know what's going on in the Star Wars universe here at this point in time. It's a completely new, different universe and world out there. And yes, while I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it kind of just sounds like a lame reason out there as of right now for exactly what it was. Exactly, that's really all I have out there as of right now for the overall plot here as far as all of that goes, and its defense. But there are a few key things that I do hope to see by the end of the show, and that very well could be seeing exactly how the show is going to build off and set up the future show of the Book of Boba Fett that will be coming out later this year, this December of 2021. With not only seeing Fennec Shand, who we promptly do see in The Mandalorian Season 1 and Season 2, but more of Season 2 here, working with Boba Fett more or less specifically, and then also seeing, you know, not only the name drop of Boba Fett actually himself being referred to as Alpha, seeing that he's his sister of Omega. Something I do think we're going to see is seeing Boba Fett actually show up by the end of the show and to kind of almost take care of Omega and bring her into the whole, I guess, idea of the Book of Boba Fett, and then later having her actually appear in live action of the Book of Boba Fett. So kind of with that overall theory in mind, that is a theory I actually had here on the channel here before, so definitely check out that video for sure. But really bearing that theory in mind as of right now, how I really do think what we're going to be seeing here by the end of Season 1 of The Bad Batch, with Omega going off to be with Boba Fett, and then later possibly seeing her in the Book of Boba Fett, which I had already mentioned, it's just going to simply leave us with The Bad Batch, just plain and simple The Bad Batch out there doing their own thing, and I think that's really when we're going to see the story take off and go on to somewhere actually, and with only 3 episodes left as of the recording of this video, And seeing so far of what we have overall seen from the show, at least with season 1, I feel that there's just a lot to cover and a lot more to exactly talk about, and it's just something that they can't exactly cover in only 3 episodes, assuming that they're each going to be only the normal 30-minute time limit here, of course, and not actual, hour-long, 90-minute type of, like the episodes here with the overall premiere of the Bad Batch show that we had earlier, with episode 1 being 90 minutes. And it's just really different story arcs from Cut Lawquane, who first started off in like episode 1, or episode 2, I think rather, from having Kamino, and now having the Clone Uprising, Fennec Shand versus Cad Bane, Omega, and then the overall Bad Batch themselves with Hunter, Wrecker, Tech, and Echo, and then having Crosshair hopefully rejoin them and come back. I just simply feel like there's just too much out there in this vast galaxy that the Bad Batch show has really explored to really end things on a thoughtful note. So with that, I do bear in mind, I do think that there's going to be multiple seasons of the show, and my whole reasoning behind that is when we take a look at past Star Wars shows, starting off with the Clone Wars season 1, many fans had thought it was just really slow and didn't exactly go anywhere all that much. Of course, it did go somewhere and it had more of a story, and really this does apply for most of these shows that I'm talking about here in those senses, especially with the Clone Wars season 1. It had those different arcs which kind of built off of different character developments in those senses, but it overall felt really slow. It didn't have the best animation or maybe the best acting, voice acting, as far as all of that goes. Not the best stories compared to other and future seasons of the Clone Wars of what we did see. Just not completely best. It was almost like a pilot episode of a TV show, except it was the first and entire season of the show. Same thing applies for Star Wars Rebels. I've heard many Star Wars fans talk about that, although I do think that the end of season 1, at least, it of course does leave off and has that whole possibility there as well of having multiple seasons of the show and carrying on the story. And that's something that we do originally see in the first Star Wars movie. They blew up the Death Star but left Darth Vader alive, which just kind of promptly leaves that whole idea of having more and more movies yet to come. And even at that, same thing applies for Star Wars Resistance. Even though not many people were fans of that overall show, they really just kind of wanted to see how those first 2 seasons, or really much rather how that first season rather, was really going to play out and turn out, to see if they wanted to make more and more. And even at that, same thing applies for The Mandalorian season 1. Yes, it was absolutely amazing, and of course many fans fell in love with it and absolutely loved it, but that still doesn't mean that the first season of the overall show was really kind of slowed, especially compared to what we saw in season 2 of the overall Mandalorian show, and what we're rumored and yet to see here for the Mandalorian season 3, 4, and so on, and overall this Mandalorian universe that we have and that has really been created. So with that bearing in mind, the closest thing I can really compare this situation here exactly to would be Star Wars Rebels. Instead of having different arcs that develop different characters, which is something it still kind of did include and kind of have, and so does the Bad Batch show as well, almost at that, but it's really one long show, much like any other regular TV show out there, that has some sort of goal in mind that we do see by the end of each and every season, and that's pretty much the same exact thing that we saw for Star Wars Rebels. And do keep in mind, bearing in mind, that in the final season of the Star Wars Rebels show, it kind of left off room to kind of expand on the story with season 2 and more seasons, and I think that's really something we're definitely going to see here, hopefully by the end of the Bad Batch season 1 at least, because do bear in mind this is something I kind of included in this week's review as well. Just because we have one bad episode, one bad day, doesn't mean not going to let it ruin the rest and an entirety of what the rest of this possible universe of the Bad Batch, or Bad Batch era so-called, could exactly really be. And bearing that in mind, I don't think that's going to necessarily be the case there. So with all of that, guys, I know the beginning part of this video was almost like a little bit of a rant, then going on to some theories and suspicions, and then kind of moving on to the main point of exactly what today's video is going to be about, having a season 2 promptly of the Bad Batch there, exactly, and seeing what the overall plot is exactly about. We kind of covered almost a little bit of everything in this video, guys, so thanks so much for watching today's video. Hope you guys enjoy it. Go comment down below some of your thoughts and opinions on the Bad Batch so far. What do you guys think about it? Do you think we're going to have more seasons of the Bad Batch? I hopefully really do think we're going to get more seasons of the Bad Batch, guys. Let me know in the comment section down below, though. And with that, let me know some of your theories and suspicions as well for the overall Bad Batch season 1 of what we're going to hopefully see here by the end of the season. Leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it, as it really does help the channel, and check out Instagram, Unofficial Star Wars, for more Star Wars related content, guys. Thanks so much for watching today's video. May the Force be with you always. Peace out.